Welcome, everybody, to the October Campfire. Today is just going to be me. You're not going to be hearing from anybody else on the team. We're going to be answering a lot of your questions from the Q&A form that we sent out earlier this week. Some people asked some great questions. I did notice that we have a lot of Win TGE questions on there, and I will give you a little bit of an answer to that, but probably not the answer you want. But we'll get to that when we get to it. First of all, I would like for all of you to give a round of applause to two of our team members. First and foremost, our fearless leader, Sean Pinnock, CEO of Avalon, had a baby at the end of the week last week, so he's not here today. He's at home being a new dad and doing new dad things, so that's big news for him. Similarly, our producer, Corey, who you guys may have seen in Discord from time to time, also had a baby this weekend. So we got two Avalon babies over the course of one weekend. So it hasn't just been busy in studio, it's been busy for people personally as well. But both babies are happy and healthy. Moms are doing great, dads are doing great, and they're spending some time with their new family members right now. So hats off to them. All right. So right now, let's kick it off by giving you guys a little bit of a status on Avalon. You guys are all Avalon insiders. You guys see all the social media posts that we make with all the visual content and all the big stuff that we put out. And as some of you may know from watching our socials, the Elisara map, which is our first map, the big green map that we've been showing off to everybody, has actually been fully completed for quite a while now as far as laying out the terrain. What we're working on right now is something that is just as important. We're nearing completion on all of the detail passes for all of the biomes across the map, and it is a very large map. It's 6 kilometers by 6 kilometers. You can walk across it in about an hour, and that's assuming that you're going full out and you don't run into any cliffs. But when I say detail passes, I'm talking about things like making sure roads and paths are at just the right angle so you don't find yourself on a road that just jumps up to the top of a cliff suddenly with no way to get up there. We want to make sure that the grass and the trees sway in the wind in a way that feels realistic and works with our weather systems. And we also want to make sure that we create variations from biome to biome that go way beyond just changing the color of the grass and stone. I know a lot of you guys have probably played other games in the past where you go from one area to the next area, and the only difference is the grass is purple in one area and it's pink in the other. And that's really the only difference other than the monsters. We want every part of our maps to feel different. So when you transition into a new area, you know you're somewhere brand new. And it's a long process for each individual biome because we have to go through and make sure that the environment not only looks great, but it actually plays well too. The last thing we want for you is to be exploring and then suddenly fall through the world. Again, something everybody has had to deal with in a game every once in a while. You're running around and all of a sudden you watch the map just go up through your head and you're just looking at it from underneath. I've got a couple of quick videos here that I do want to show off so that nobody outside the Avalon team has seen yet. These are brand new. You guys are getting first looks at these. The first one is going to focus on the Meadows biome, which is where all of the players will begin their journey in Avalon. And the second one is the Ruby Archipelago, which is a much more tropical environment and is actually still under development a bit. You won't see it in this video because the video is a week or two old, but just last week we added some new palm tree type trees to make it feel a bit more island style. So let me go ahead and get my screen fired up, and we will show you guys here. All right, guys, here we go with the first video. All right, guys, that was the Meadows biome, and we'll go ahead and show you the Ruby Archipelago as well. All right. So, what'd you guys think? Which biome do you like better? Personally, I'm a huge fan of the Meadows biome just because it is so big, and there's so much to explore. And you guys will notice that when you were watching both of those videos, you didn't see any villages, you didn't see any structures, you didn't see any enemies or anything like that running around, and that was done intentionally. Those things do all exist in game, but we don't want to show those off with the map, just so that you guys can get a sense of what the areas look like and what you're going to be exploring. And those are just two of our biomes that we have. And the Elisara map, that big giant 6 kilometer map, will have almost, I think we have 9 or 10 biomes that we're doing. I think we're going for 10. We may cut it down to 9, just depending on how we want to go with kind of chopping up some of the last couple of biomes. But man, it is really a phenomenal looking map, and I can't wait for you guys to get in and see it. So next up, we are developing a really kind of cool and unique bot system that we're going to be bringing to Discord. So this is going to be something that you guys are all going to be able to interact with. There's going to be several different bots that we're going to be introducing, each with its own individual personality and each based in the world of Avalon. They will be able to answer your questions about the game, the races, the lore, characters, and all kinds of other stuff. They may have very, very limited knowledge of the outside world, so chances are if you try and ask them about stuff that is going on in the real world, or what their favorite Taylor Swift album is, probably not going to be able to answer you on that one. However, the best part about the bots that we're introducing is that they will learn and they will remember all of their interactions that they're going to have with you. Not only just as a community, but they're going to remember you individually. So if I say something to the bot and I get on the bot's bad side, it's going to remember that me, Alex, is on the bot's bad side, whereas somebody else may be on the bot's good side, and they're going to have a much better relationship. So make sure that that is something that you guys are on the lookout for. We're also going to have the capability to send the bots out on missions to do things. Because not all of the bots, like I said, are going to have the same knowledge base. They're all going to be slightly different. Some are going to know more about some things than others. So you could, for example, send them out to hunt goblins, and when they come back, they'll know lore about the Goblong race, and they'll be able to tell you about locations where you can go in-game to hunt for epic loot. And that's something to look forward to in the relatively near future. We're going to have more details for you coming up on that soon, probably in the next couple of weeks. And you'll see the bots start to show up. And hopefully that's something that you guys will enjoy. Now, going with that, as some of you guys may have heard through the grapevine, we've pulled in a select few people from our community, including our very own Discord mods here, to play a very, very, very early version of AVALON. The people we've brought in to see the game right now are specialists. These are people who are very familiar with AVALON behind the scenes and have long backgrounds of testing and providing very, very focused feedback for us. Just in the last month, their feedback has helped us further refine the user interface as a whole, made the building system better, made things more intuitive for players, and helped us find and squash a whole mountain of bugs. I don't want everyone to think that they're missing out, and we absolutely will be bringing in more players. Our current plan is to bring a bunch of people in for a beta test in early 2026. So that's just a couple of months away, won't be very long. I won't give you all the details on that right now. We're going to be talking about that shortly because we've got a bunch of questions to ask about it. So we'll get back to that very, very soon here. So on that note, let's go ahead and dive into the questions. We got about 15 minutes left, and we want to get through a bunch of these, and we had a bunch of really, really good questions that came in. So off the top, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the when TGE questions because we got a bunch of those. So the AVALON TGE, as of right now, does not have a set date. We will be doing one. That is an absolute fact. Don't have to worry about that. But we don't have a set date. A lot of you guys are Web3 natives and you understand the Web3 ecosystem and you understand the Web3 economy, and it hasn't been in the best place lately. So for AVALON to be successful, we want to make sure that we're doing the TGE at the right time and making sure it's on the right platform and making sure that everybody's going to have access to it when it happens. So we're getting all those pieces together and we're making sure that everything is going to happen exactly like it is. But at the same time, as Shelby just pointed out in chat, we're focused on making the game. So the TGE will come. It's going to happen. We're still working on that, but we're absolutely laser focused on making a good game so that when the TGE happens, you guys have a reason to stick around, because the last thing that we want is we want to drop a TGE and then have the entire community just vanish. We want you guys to stick around for the long haul and enjoy AVALON for years. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the beta program that we're going to be working on in early 2026. And this ties in with a lot of different things. So we are planning on doing a beta program in the early part of 2026. This is going to involve a big number of people. We're not entirely sure how many yet, but that will be announced as soon as we figure it out. But it won't be small. We're not going to be bringing in 10 people. We're not going to be bringing in 100 people. It's probably going to be in the thousands of people for the first wave of the beta test. So get ready for that. And there are potential ways that we may tie in the quest system with that, where perhaps you could use some of your quest system points to redeem the ability to invite some of your friends in to come play the beta with you. So keep that in mind. That's something that we're working on. May or may not happen. No promises, but it is an idea that we've been throwing around. All right, so let's go ahead and start answering some of the questions that were submitted by you guys. So JB asked, when is the new website launching? And are there any hints on Web3 integrations? Like, will we be able to craft gear in-game and have it minted to blockchain? All right, so the first one, when is the new website launching? The new website, I actually just had a meeting on it this morning. The design profile for the website is done and completed, and we have handed it off to our engineering partners to go ahead and build the front end for that website. It should be launching within the next couple of weeks, and that is going to simultaneously coincide with us having a brand new login system for the Quest system. You guys will not notice a change on your end. Our login system, the old login system, and the new login system are working side by side behind the scenes. So when you go to log into the Quest system, it will automatically create an account for you with your password on the new Quest system, and you have nothing to worry about. So You guys are all going to be good there. All of your points will stay. It'll be completely transparent. You got nothing to worry about. But that will be around the same time as the new website launches. Now, the other question that JB asked, are there any hints on Web3 integrations, like being able to craft weapons and things like that in game and then have them minted on blockchain? And the answer to that is unequivocally yes. We are absolutely going to do that. That has been part of the plan for Avalon since the very beginning. Not only is it going to be things like weapons and armor, but you guys have all seen our building system in action. If you guys think back to the first campfire that we had with Josh, where he was building things in game and he was creating prefabs, you're going to be able to create your own prefabs, whether those are houses, taverns, you make a bridge that goes over a river, you make a dragon out of housing pieces that you can use as a front lawn ornament. You will be able to save those as prefabs. Those prefabs will then be minted and you can put those up on the marketplace. So yes, there will absolutely be blockchain built into Avalon as a core component of our economy. That is absolutely going to happen. Now, next question we have up here. A lot of questions about the quest system, so we'll talk about that for a minute. I registered a long time ago on the quest.avalon.online website, and what is the function of collecting XP and points on the website? Okay, so collecting XP and points on the quest system is going to lead to in-game rewards. We're also potentially going to be tying that in with the bots that I talked about earlier, where you're going to be able to spend your quest points to send the bots out to gain new knowledge and bring it back to you, and also get rewards from that. So all of these things, everything that we're doing in the community is all going to tie directly back into Avalon. Now, do we have exact details on what those rewards are going to be? Not yet. And the reason for that is because we are still working out the minute small pieces of our economy, and we want to make sure that everything lines up, and we want to make sure that it's fair for everybody. Because the last thing that anybody wants is to jump into a game that is entirely pay to win. So people that have been farming the quest system for 6 months all of a sudden have a huge advantage over everybody else. We don't want that. You guys don't want that, so we're not going to do it. All right. Next question we have here is in the future, or is there any collaboration with other teams in the crypto space? This was asked by MDYN. Yes, absolutely. We are going to be doing collaborations with people both inside and outside of the crypto space. There is no limit to who we are willing to work with as far as things that are going to take place in Avalon. We will have cross-promotional stuff that will be going on with people in the Web3 space and people in the traditional gaming space. We want to be able to bring in as many assets and make the world of Avalon feel as full as it possibly can, while also allowing you guys, the Avalon players, to take some of the gear and stuff that you have claimed in Avalon outside and drop it into other Web3 games and other Web2 games if that becomes a possibility. But that's the entire reason we're building Avalon, because we want to build this idea of a collaborative game where everything comes together. Think the Oasis from Ready Player One, where everybody's got the ability to access everything across a wide variety of games. We're absolutely going to do that. Now, do we have anything specifically lined up at this point? Not yet. But we're, again, that's something that we want to wait until the game launches first. We want to make sure that the game gets out the door, and then all of the people that we have had lining up for partnerships and collabs and things like that, we'll start rolling those out into game as it makes sense. But we don't want to run into, trying to do the collabs now and then have problems when the game launches. We want to get the game out the door first, and that's our chief focus right now. Now, next one. This is a bunch of questions that came in from Hyde, Fog Road Happy. And so I'm going to go through them one at a time because he asked some really, really great questions here. So first one is, Dear team, first question. After seeing the team's game videos and live streams, I've noticed that only a third-person perspective is available. Will there be a first-person perspective? That's a great question, and it is absolutely true. Right now, we do only have a third-person over-the-shoulder camera. for when you're playing the game. Now, when you're in build mode, everything goes down into first person because you become a tiny little floating ball of light. And that's the best way to do it. So you don't have a light in your face, you go into first person. We are talking about ways that we could make combat a first person camera, and we'll make that toggleable for everybody. But at present, it is only third person, and we're just kind of looking into the possibility of first person. So that's a good question. Keep it in your hip pocket. We'll have more news about that later. Second question, will there be an AI boss that learns from the combat strategies of all players who have previously attempted that encounter? A truly formidable monster up to that floor. Might not be very beginner friendly, but it would be incredibly exciting. And the answer to that is also a big yes. If you guys have been paying attention to our socials, you may have seen something about a dragon that popped up. The dragon is going to be the boss of the first floor of Avalon. That Elisara map that we showed off, the dragon is going to be the boss. It's going to be huge. It's going to breathe fire at you. It's going to fly around, and it's going to come and land on top of you with a giant stomp that will throw you back. All of those things exist in the game right now. The thing that I will tell you is that that boss will absolutely learn from its encounters with you. So if you go to fight it the first time and you've got a bow and arrow and you're hiding behind rocks and you're peeking out to shoot it with a bow and arrow and you die, the next time you go fight it, it's going to remember that you were hiding behind the rocks with a bow and arrow, and it may just come after you on the ground instead, because then you can't get away. So these are things that you're going to have to strategize around, and this is a big part of what we're doing in Avalon with AI-backed NPCs. You've heard this a lot in the past. We're going to have not only AI NPCs in villages that will remember your conversations, they'll remember your character, and they'll remember everything that they've done with you, but the bosses are going to learn. The enemies are going to learn. They get smarter and smarter, and it is based off of you as an individual or the group that you're traveling with. If you have a clan, if you have a guild, we haven't decided what we're going to call them yet, but we will have kind of a clan/guild system like many other MMOs do. And if you're going out and hunting as a group, maybe the goblins will start setting traps for you the more times you run through there. So that's something to definitely keep at the tip of your noggin when you're going through and fighting in the lands of Avalon. Next question is, I would love to see a wiki for the team's game. It would be fantastic if, based on the mechanics, players could contribute to the wiki and create forums to discuss the world of Avalon and the unique worlds they create. So we're going to be attacking this in several different ways. When the game launches, we will have a wiki that will have a bunch of publicly available information. We obviously don't want to have everything in there because we want you guys to be able to get out and game and explore and find things out for yourself rather than being able to just go to a website and read everything. We're also going to have a subreddit started up here very shortly, and you guys will be able to start discussing the game there as well, be able to do build crafting and theorizing and lore videos and all that kind of great stuff. So those things are coming. And it's just a matter of getting those stood up in a timely manner before the game comes out. Because like I said, we want it to be available for you when the game launches, but we also want you guys to be able to still have a bunch of stuff to explore. Fourth question, what will the interface of the in-game trading/market area look like? So there's going to be a couple different ways that you're going to be able to do that. In the towns and villages, there will be vendor stalls, there will be blacksmith shops, there will be taverns, all of these places that you can go and interact with NPCs and also set up your own shops where you can buy and sell the goods that are made and created in Avalon. You can buy and sell various food and drink. You'll be able to buy and sell various resources, all that kind of stuff. Side by side with that, we will also have the Avalon Marketplace. And that's where you're going to be able to do things like auction house style, similar to World of Warcraft, where you can post stuff and you don't necessarily have to be sitting at your keyboard while you're waiting for your items to sell. So we've got two halves of that economy. It'll be in just about every village and city and town and, point of focus that we create within the lands of Avalon that you'll be able to interact with and be a part of that in-game economy. The final question that Hyde asked is, I've noticed that a lot of the architecture and weapons in Avalon currently resemble beautiful structures of the West. Do you have assets/content to create Eastern-style architecture and weapons? And yes, we do. We're going to be creating stuff that takes influence from all over the world. And we have an international team that works at Avalon that is making sure that all of those things get represented. We first want to make sure that we're getting the appropriate flavor for what we're doing. So for example, you guys have noticed that that first map is going to be very heavily themed in tones of kind of like medieval styling, lots of dungeons, lots of castles, things like that. So that's the base level. We want to get that feel to it. After we do that, we want to start bringing in the various cultural things while making sure that we are still super respectful to everybody's culture. Everything is going to be a part of Avalon, so you won't see something specific to, Chinese culture or Japanese culture or, European culture. There's going to be cultural similarities between things that we introduce into Avalon, but it'll all be custom creations for Avalon itself. All right, so let's see what else we have here. Need be asked, would it be good to share the roadmap details? And why was the NFT mint canceled? And what do you think the best game in Web3 is right now? So that's a lot of questions. We'll answer those one at a time. The referral system, we decided to get rid of that from the original Quest system because it was being fairly heavily abused. And we had one channel where everybody was just flooding their referrals over and over and over again. And no one was really getting anywhere with it. And it wasn't really something that we felt the community should be focused on. Now, as far as those referrals, like I said, we are working on systems where you may be able to use some of your quest points to refer your friends to be able to participate in the beta. So referrals aren't completely dead, but they're just not present right now. We're still going to be working on things like that. The next question that was asked is, why was the NFT mint canceled? Wasn't canceled. We already talked about that. We're going to be getting there soon. So, we're getting there. Trust me. I promise it's coming. And the last question is, what do you think the best game in Web3 is right now? So admittedly, I am not the biggest Web3 gamer right now, but I am looking forward to Reaper Actual, which is going to exist as both a Web2 and Web3 game. It looks super cool. They've got a really great economy system. I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to play out, especially with two separate communities, both playing the same game. It's going to be something that's going to be really kind of new and interesting. So definitely looking forward to that. Let's see, where else are we? Okay, so here's a good question to wrap up on. With so many games these days, what makes Avalon's game different from other projects, and what are the key features that will make Avalon last long? So this is something that Sean has answered at great length before. And the answer to that is relatively simple and relatively complex at the same time. Avalon is going to integrate a lot of new things that people have tried to do in the past, but have not been technologically available. The AI NPCs that I discussed just a short time ago is a perfect example of that. You're going to have characters in the first town that you walk into that will remember your name forever. They will remember all of the interactions that you've had with them, good or bad. If you walk up to them and the first time you meet them, you insult them and you call them a worthless goblong, they're going to remember that for the entire time that you interact with that NPC. They will remember. The bosses are going to remember your tactics. The goblins are going to remember how many times you've come and raided their camp, and they're going to start hiding the good gear from you. So you're going to have to work harder to get it. And that's something that other games haven't had in the past. There have been little glimmers of that periodically in older games like Fable and things like that, where you go into a village, and because you have done stuff there in the past, they remember you by a certain name. Anybody that remembers back to the Fable days will remember being called Chicken Kicker. And that was something that existed back at the time. But that was a very, very limited scope. That was one thing that happened when you walked into a village. In Avalon, every character that you interact with will have that same level of knowledge. They will all remember you. They will all interact with you in different ways. And they're all powered by AI. That's all being done through our partner, In-World AI, and they have done some absolutely phenomenal stuff. If you haven't seen In-World's work, I definitely recommend going and checking them out. They have a lot of publicly available demos and things like that, so you can kind of get a little bit of taste of what we're going to be putting into Avalon behind the scenes. So those kinds of interactions and those kinds of ongoing life within the game of Avalon are going to keep you coming back because there's always something more to do. There's always another conversation to be had. There's always more things to go. The other thing that's going to make Avalon last is going to be our partnerships and people being interested in those partnerships. Like I said, there is no limit to who we are willing to work with on partnerships and collabs and things like that. So we're constantly going to be adding new things to the game. We're going to be adding new core content that's developed by the studio, but there's also going to be the ability for other companies to come in and develop their own content alongside us that will enrich the game and make it better. Not only that, but you as players are going to have the ability to create your own content. You guys have seen the building system. You guys have seen little bits and pieces of a system behind the scenes that we call Merlin. Merlin is our system that will allow you to build your own content. It is game logic, very simple, very easy to use game logic that goes very deep. So if you want to create a dungeon, you use the building system in the game to create the entire dungeon. You build the whole thing out. You build the hallways. You build the boss room. You build all the side rooms that have treasure chests and traps and things like that in them. And then you go into the Merlin system and you start adding in the flavor. You add in the enemies. You add in the bosses. You can create variable difficulty. So sometimes you want to play it on easy. Sometimes you want to play it on hard. You can set those difficulties. You can create traps. You can create hidden doors. You can create all the kinds of things that you have seen in games that have that very deep user-generated content like Minecraft and Roblox and things like that. You'll be able to do all of that in Avalon with a very simple interface that, like I said, does go very deep. So you don't have to know how to code a game in order to make your own game. But if you want to make something really complex, we're giving you the tools to be able to do that right up front. So that's how that's going to work. So we're actually about almost 10 minutes over time. So if anybody has any burning questions in chat, I'm more than happy to answer them. Get them out in chat real quick. We'll give it about another 5 minutes that I'll answer questions. And if nobody's got any questions, we'll wrap it up. There we go. Now I'm seeing everybody typing. Will the game have support in multiple languages? Yes, it will. We are going to localize it to several different locations, probably for our core communities at first. Localization is a very complex process. We obviously want to make sure that the languages are right in the game, that everything translates well. So that is something that does take time. But we absolutely will be supporting the game in multiple languages. Kim, you said you need more details on the NFT. Unfortunately, that's all the details that I have right now. I don't have specifics on when the NFT collection is going to drop or the TGE, but we do have an NFT collection coming. Currently, right now, the code name for it is the Founders Collection. So you guys will get to feel great about being a part of the Founders Collection, and we'll have more information for you on that as soon as we have more information to share. So that's it. How will your quest points be used to access the beta stage? So more than likely, your quest points will not be required for you to get into the beta. But if you get in and somebody else that you know doesn't, we're thinking about allowing you to spend your quest points to bring that person in. So that's a possibility. We're kicking it around. It's not for sure yet, but that's something that we're certainly considering. Alex, you asked if how the progression to the cyberpunk look. So cyberpunk is our second level. So you guys undoubtedly have noticed that big giant spire that's in the middle of the map in Elisara. That spire is how you ascend to the next level. To be able to get there, you have to beat the boss. So you're going to have to take on the dragon, and then you'll get to go inside the tower, and then you'll get to ascend to the next level. Every level that we have in Avalon will have some kind of tower to get you to the next level, because Avalon is a series of levels that are all stacked vertically within the simulation on top of each other. So where it looks like a big ivory spire that ascends up into the heavens in Elisara, in the cyberpunk level, maybe it's a skyscraper that you just can't see the top of because it stretches up above the clouds. But every level will have a central spire that will allow you to get to the next level. So yeah, that big spire that's in the middle of the Elisara map, that's where you're going to go to get up to cyberpunk. All right. Keem, you also asked what determines the eligibility for the beta stage. So we haven't decided on that yet. That's something that we're going to be working on over the next couple of months, but it's certainly going to have a component of being a part of the community and being here and being present and participating in the community and all those kinds of wonderful things. You know, obviously with Discord, we have the ability to click on your username and see if you joined Discord, yesterday, or if you joined 3 years ago. And so, we are going to certainly consider that when we're bringing people in. The people that have been around and supported us and, been participating in building the community inside of the Avalon ecosystem, we're absolutely gonna look at giving those people first shot at getting into the beta. So that's something to consider. Hard cool. You asked. You were wondering how high performance is needed on the PC to be able to play smoothly. So that is something that we've taken a lot of consideration on. Avalon is going to be a very resource intensive game as far as the way that we have it currently on PC. The beta is not going to be fully optimized. I'll give you a warning on that right now. We do have a testing system internally where we test it on what we refer to as a minimum spec computer. Right now, that min spec computer runs an NVIDIA GTX 2070. So if you have a 2070 or better video card and you're running 16 gig of RAM and you've got the space to install the game, you should be just fine once we start rolling that out to beta. So everybody should be able to get in. Viteman asked, will the game be an MMO? Yes, the game will absolutely be an MMO. You will not be alone in the world. You will be interacting with hundreds, if not thousands of people. We are working on ways to make it so that you can play it individually if you don't want to have to do group content, because there are plenty of people out there that don't. We won't make that a requirement. But, that is, it will be an MMO and there will be people everywhere. Alex asked, how can I get to work with you guys as a streamer and making events and stuff like that? So the best way is, if you haven't done it already, open a ticket for collaboration. There is a link at the top of the ticket once you create it that is a form that I do pay very close attention to for collaboration, and that includes people who are content creators that would like to work with us. And so, yeah, open your ticket there. Fill it out. Let us know you want to work with us. I do pay attention to that form. That is not just a dumping ground. We see everything and everybody that fills that out. So, when we're ready to start bringing people on to collab, we will have a list of lots of people that we can do that. So there we go. All right. It doesn't look like we have any more questions, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We went about 15 minutes over time, which I'm fine with. I enjoy spending time with you guys. You guys are the core of why we're making Avalon, and we're having a fantastic time doing it. And we certainly do appreciate you guys sticking around and spread the love on Twitter, on Discord. Bring people in, show them the game, and show them how much fun it looks like it's going to be. And we look forward to getting all of you guys in early 2026 for some really good gameplay. So take it easy, guys. Everybody have a wonderful afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time of day it is for you. And we'll see you next month for another campfire. Have a good one, guys.